Hello! Sorry for the late start here. Welcome back to another stream this week. Today we'll be continuing the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. As for the rest of the week, on Saturday, so in like 3 days time, big jump, I know, but we'll be trying out Picayune Dreams, which is a roguelike that I have heard good things about, and that I've had my eyes on for quite a while. But that's all I've got for right now. Let's get started. Bum, 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 bum. Alright, so last we left off, we're looking for Sholmes in a wax artist museum. We are currently defending a guy named Albert Harebrain, who created an instantaneous Kinesis device, because teleportation is not a word that exists in this time era just yet. Let's continue here. Yeah, so we were about to point out this inexplicably conspicuous individual. It's the great detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes! Mr. Sholmes has his own wax statue in here? Really? No, that's definitely him. Are you kidding?
Well, he is world famous after all.
It's an uncanny resemblance, isn't it? Makes my skin crawl to look at it.
I know!
It's gonna blink.
Oh, look, Bruno. You can kick this Hurley and he doesn't move a muscle.
You can't go around kicking the exhibits, Iris! Oh, there he goes! There he goes! Oh! It just moved, I'm sure. And not just a little bit either. He was in agony! Come on, blink. Huh?
Really? Did it?
And look closely. There are beads of sweat on the face of this waxwork model. Come on, buddy. You've been caught. Shall we move on, Iris? Over there, look! There's a great murder scene to enjoy. Much more appealing.
Hold it!
Oh. Sholmes. My dear fellow, I take exception to your recoiling in such a manner, as if you've seen something truly abhorrent. Mr. Sholmes. I knew it. Well, yeah, it was so funny! Iris, what possessed you? I strictly forbade you from divulging my temporary waxwork secret to Mr. Naruto. Temporary waxwork? What do you mean? And that kick, could you not have exercised a little more restraint? You winded me!
But Bruno has something he needs to ask you.
Ah, a question.
And I thought you'd probably be getting bored too. So here we are!
Well, I can't deny that your timing was impeccable. A mere 2 minutes more of being stationary like that, and my great brain, upon which all my success has been built, would have turned to wax! Thank goodness we arrived in time. I love this guy. Indeed, in many ways, the pair of you just saved the world from an unimaginable loss.
Oh, Hurley, you do like to talk nonsense, do you?
She literally just said you love to hear the sound of your own voice. Oh, whoops. He could know something. It's true. About Lord Van Zeeks and what happened in the past to him. To change him. Now that you're here, let's check our time. How can I be of assistance? Well, you're in luck. I'm suddenly quite taken with the idea of conversing. Oh, well, actually, I'm in quite a hurry. And if my eyes don't deceive me, I believe something is afoot within the walls of this very museum. A most fascinating case, if I'm not mistaken. Really? Moreover, I have a strong suspicion that it is related to the matter about which you've come to me now. But how do you know? But how could it be? We shall speak again presently, my dear fellow, but for now I must return to my work. There he goes. Huh, back to being a temporary waxwork exhibit? Oh, here we go. Madame Tuspel's. What is this place? Sholmes. Oh, there we go. Madame Tuspel's came to London from France 3 years ago, I understand. So she opened this little waxwork museum last year. Has enjoyed great popularity in London. There are museums like this in Japan too, but these displays are something else. I mean, they aren't made from actual real people, are they? The extreme realism of these waxwork models is a particular secret of the Tuspel's family, they say. They earned renown during the French Revolution for waxworks of victims of the guillotine. Ugh, that sounds grim. The gruesome scenes were portrayed with such realism in the expressions of the faces of the condemned.
Apparently, the sculptors would make the models directly from the corpses right there at the site of the executions.
It really turns my stomach. That's just one of several legends about the Chessballs family. Whether there's any truth in it, I couldn't say. But anyway, this museum houses models of famous people from all over the globe. Nevertheless, the most popular areas of the museum by quite some margin is this House of Horrors. House of Horrors? Of course, visitor numbers are dwindling now as a result of the Great Exhibition, but people usually flock here to see the exhibits of some of London's most vile criminals at their gruesome work. Naturally, some of the miscreants portrayed here were sent to the gallows. So they're even stiffer now than the models of them. Ha 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 ha! Have you heard of poor taste? My dear fellow, the public live for poor taste. They yearn to be shocked. So, the hideous exhibits in here are...
They're all portrayals of real events that actually took place.
Is it just me, or did the temperature in here just seem to drop? This looks cool though, Ryunosuke. Anyway, I advise you not to think too deeply about what you see here. Oh, there he goes. Oh, he's back to being a waxwork, is he? What do you mean by a temporary waxwork, Mr. Sholmes? Exactly what you see. I'm part of the exhibits here, catching these criminals in the act. Catching them? Every half an hour, I home in on a different killer in one of the displays and adopt a new pose to ensnare him. When members of the public come for a closer look, I offer them my hand to shake. For a shilling, I'll happily allow them to take a photograph with us. Isn't that... Do you have permission to do that? I feel like that's illegal in some way. Us? Does he mean him and the waxwork murders in here? But why, Mr. Sholmes? My dear fellow, isn't it obvious? For the money! He really roared at me there. Very fitting for the House of Horrors. Oh, as it stands, I may struggle to pay this month's rent. And I have the ravenous iris to consider.
Oh, Hurley, I'm so hungry!
If push comes to shove, I shall have to ask you to do your bit, Mr. Naruhodo. What's he threatening to rope me into now? So, with that in mind, how about a photograph? As a special treat, you may have your pick of the murderers and scoundrels in here. The choice is yours. Maybe some other time. Remember, Mr. Naruhodo, ignore me at your peril. Here he goes. Back to being a waxwork again. Is it just me, or did his final remark there sound a lot like a curse? I hope not! Something to ask you. Yeah, this is what we came here for. Well? What is it you'd like to ask me, then? Actually, it's about Lord Van Zieks. Ah, our friend Mr. Reaper. How did you find him? Well, I trust? Oh, a fade to black! And so I filled Mr. Sholmes in about everything I'd learned. About Lord Van Zieks, about Professor Harebrained, and about the strange coincidence that they had been at the university together. So I'm wondering what it was that happened to make Lord Van Zieks such a different person.
I'm sure that you'd know, Hurley.
Oh, is this one of his, forbidden secrets, so to speak? Said there was something going on here in this exhibit hall before. Now something was afoot. And that you believed it was related to what I wanted to ask you about. Mr. Sholmes? He suddenly clammed up. Uh-oh. Well, it seems we reached the unavoidable... Oh! Greetings. Oh, pretty lady! Sorry, sorry. Woman just said pretty? I know. Sorry, we haven't even seen the. Oh, hello. Where did she appear from? What's she wearing? Could she look any more mysterious? Pretty lady, pretty lady, pretty lady. I hope you are appreciating my museum. Woman. Hang on. Give me 1 second. Yep, that's going in the compilation. Anyway. Sorry? Have I? Oh. Mr. Sholmes, do you know this? Not again! My apologies. I am Esmeralda Tuspels. This is my museum of waxwork. What? You're the Madame Tuspels? Bien sûr. They were only 26 years ago. Although only 26 years young, I might add. Is that significant somehow? I'm a madame in name only. It adds a certain je ne sais quoi. Right. Firstly, I must apologize for my waxworks. Or rather, one waxwork in particular. That'll be Mr. Sholmes then. I was led to believe he was a great detective, but he seems unable to settle. Next time you move from your designated exhibit, there will be toil and trouble. There he goes!
She sounds deadly serious.
That's a problem. How am I supposed to ask Mr. Sholmes about Lord Van Zieks now?
Let's not forget what Hurley said before. About something being afoot. Right here in the museum, I mean.
Yes, I know, but...
I'm so curious! I want to know what's happening here!
Okay, well, good to know that he was hired to do work here. Haven't we gotten enough on our plate already? Oh, woman. Pretty lady. The waxworks. Did you make all these waxworks, Madame Tuspels? I did. I am the 3rd generation of waxwork artisans, you know.
Gosh!
It was my grandmother who began the tradition in my family. Her fortunes were sequered, living through the turbulent times of the French Revolution as she did. Though that is when she acquired the savoir-faire that leads to the astonishing lifelikeliness.
All these waxworks really do look as though they're alive. In fact, they look more alive than Hurley.
Pretty. What you see exhibited here represents the most atrocious of London's criminal past. All the waxworks were created in the presence of the real people on which they are modeled. In the hours immediately following their executions. That is the secret to the extraordinary lifelikeness. That sounds terrifying. All walks of life have similar challenges, I'm sure. To carry out one's trade par excellence, one must go to extraordinary lengths. Oh, par excellence, probably. My exhibits are a reflection of society. I create only that which the public wishes to see. Ugh. Why couldn't the public have wished for something less horrifying? Do not fear. Sorry? This room is the only one in the museum with such a macabre theme. I do hope you'll explore. There are models of famous singers, actors, politicians. Something for every taste, I hope. It was Iris who dragged me straight in here, come to think of it.
Sorry. Perhaps I should have eased you into things.
The Great Detective waxwork. What's the situation with that? Ah, my temporary waxwork model. He approached me some days ago, you see, with a business proposal. Oh, what sort of proposal? Oh. My dear madame, what these sparse exhibits need is the addition of a world-famous great detective. Or words to that effect. Naturally, I am well aware that Mr. Sholmes is widely known in London as a talented detective. It's great detective, actually. He's very specific about it. Yes, the creme de la creme. Oh, so I was keen to come to some arrangements with him, of course. But sadly, we were unable to agree terms. Let me guess. Someone wanted to charge an exorbitant price for his services. For a mere £500! I will dive into your cauldron of wax this very moment!
Or words to that effect.
Mr. Sholmes might have overdone it slightly with the sales pitch. Regrettably, the museum has a shortage of funds at the moment, due to unforeseen circumstances.
So we came to the current arrangement instead.
Surely he doesn't really need to do what he's doing though, does he?
I would think not, but
he was very insistent. I have a 50-shilling problem that must be resolved by the morning!
or words to that effect.
It's the pawnbroker, that's what it is. He must have something to redeem. Is the consulting detective work not going so well? Something afoot. I wonder, could I ask you something? Bien sûr. I'm just curious, is anything going on in the museum at the moment? Some kind of incident, perhaps? Oh! Whoever suggested such a thing to you? Oh, well, it was... Oh, he's gone! Your temporary waxwork over there who mentioned it to me a little... Oh! He's disappeared! Oh. A wax model is a work of art, not some tawdry object for trade. Ah. Oh, hi Sholmes, welcome back. There you are! Leaving the exhibit again when you should be working? Do you wish to be melted down? My dear Madame Tussbells, save your reprimands! There are more pressing concerns. The wax can wait. It's our ideas about your current problem that we must throw into the melting pot instead. Oh. Personally, I would advise you not to involve the police. Why ever not? She's turned as white as a sheet. Because you have at your disposal a great detective whose services you may employ for a mere 50 shillings. Though please be aware that I prefer no. I insist upon payment in advance. Very well. Let us see if the great detective is able to live up to his name, shall we? Pretty... Before I engage my analytical process, I must ask you to clarify something. Yeah, the arm's sticking out from under there. What, pray tell, is behind the curtain? That is the Tussbells special exhibit. There is an extra charge to see it. Ah, the special exhibit in the House of Horrors. It must depict a special killer then, I presume. Would you be so kind as to draw back the curtain, I wonder? Ah, absolutely. Oh, absolument no. There is nothing amiss behind there. Nothing amiss, madame? What about the arm protruding ominously from under the curtain? Ah! I strongly encourage you to allow me to see what lies beyond before the situation worsens. Yes, very well. I will draw back the curtains, but only a soupçon. Oh! I must confess, I peeked it behind the curtain earlier. The Tussbells special exhibit is a bleak graveyard scene indeed. And yet, somewhat surprisingly, the waxwork killer one would expect is nowhere to be seen. That does strike one, however. Oh! Is the portly gentleman lying peacefully on his back on the floor? Is he real? Is he alive? Well then perhaps, Mr. Sholmes? That man on the floor is the ruthless killer himself! I'm afraid not, my dear fellow. He's a perfectly ordinary London gentleman. Not even a waxwork, in fact. Ah, I thought so. What? As skillfully made as these waxworks are, they're always distinguishable from humans, real humans. So, allow me to present my two conclusions. The first is that a sizable business transaction has been taking place in the special exhibit. Why would you say that? And the second is that the aforementioned transaction is linked to a serious crime. Ah! She looks as pale as a candle wax. I don't understand. So, Madame Taspels, as you've agreed to my fee, you shall now have the pleasure of seeing this famously great detective and temporary exhibit at work. Here we go! The grand deduction! The game is afoot! Waxworks, fate. To begin with, we must ask ourselves, what exactly is afoot here in this museum? Oh, the answer is revealed by the bundle of banknotes protruding so helpfully from her bag. In my estimation, some 200 pounds. That is all my own money! So what does this large sum of money reveal? Oh, she's looking. She's so pretty! I'm sorry, I'm really distracted. She's really pretty! Not as much as the involuntary glance you cast, it would seem, Madame Taspels. Yes, the answer lies where your eyes now fall. The significance of the 200 pounds is revealed by that public notice! No, it isn't, Sholmes! Waxwork for sale? Your business has hit hard times, it would seem. In short, you sold the infamous killer, the centerpiece of your special exhibit, for the sum of 200 pounds. No! Now, let us explore the next curiosity with which we are presented. Who is the portly gentleman stretched out so peacefully on the floor? It would appear the man has suffered a severe shock, the cause of which is clearly known to you. Pretty. Unfortunately, madame, keeping secrets does not appear to be your forte. What dealt the man such a shocking blow was, of course, the 200— No, it was the wax statues! It had to be! It would appear that you twisted this gentleman around your little finger most effectively. Oh! What the heck? She was hidden! Wait a minute! What you got behind there? What are you suggesting? She's pretty. He rashly agreed to purchase the waxwork for the sum of 200 pounds. Only when he came to hand the money over, it did occur to him what an extraordinary amount he was paying. But the money was no longer in his hands. The result? The scene we see before us. He collapsed in shock. Yes, the killer in this special exhibit fetched a killer price. We can only pray that the gentleman's dreams are not plagued with regret. Sholmes, we've got some fixing to do for this. Sold for cash? Alright, before we continue here. The question that arises then is what has become of the waxwork that changed hands. Let us consider that problem for a moment. You cannot possibly. Oh, what immediately strikes me about this conundrum is the young man standing over there. He's missing a hand probably, isn't he? Who is this fellow? To find the answer, we need only observe his neckerchief. Such is worn by policemen as a secret sign to fellow members of the force that a crime is being perpetrated. Yes, this young man is an undercover policeman, currently investigating this museum. I know him well, in fact. It's Sergeant John Clay. What are you talking about? The man's quite a celebrity. He received triple accolades in last year's policing awards. What? Next, we turn our attention to the old man sat before him with the particularly unsightly visage. I've been watching closely and he hasn't moved a muscle. Almost, in fact, as if he were a waxwork. I'm sorry, I'm really distracted by pretty woman. What do you... Your reaction only confirms my suspicions, madame. I noticed it at once, of course. Observed! The telltale sign that instantly proves whether or not this old man is a waxwork is the obvious price tag. Oh, it's something else. Threepence? A tragically low price, you might say. Though perhaps the going rate for aging waxworks riddled with cracks. And yet you sold it to the portly gentleman for an exorbitant 200 pounds! The sort of plucky behavior that's sure to attract the attention of Scotland Yard. Isn't that so, madame? I do not. Yes, the waxwork you sold has already been seized by the police and remains in their custody as we speak. The old man must be reunited with his grave in the special exhibit, and not a moment too soon. We're gonna have to make a couple of corrections here, Sholmes. This thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this horrifying puzzle. Alright. Yeah, she's like, I see I've stunned you all into silence.
You have, Hurley. You have. And you've obviously upset this young lady in the process. Her cauldron looks awfully hot.
If I could just bring up 1 point, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, the Notoria is now to hold a 1 point. I'm all ears, my dear fellow. According to your deductions, then, the special exhibit featured this old policeman. So, that would mean he's a particularly ruthless murderer, wouldn't it? The killer policeman, Ottermole. Sorry? It was a mysterious series of murders that rattled the capital only last year. The police rushed to the scene every time, only to find the culprit had disappeared into the ether.
And it turned out the culprit was a policeman himself! A senior officer by the name of Ottermole.
So you mean that's who the sinister-looking old policeman there is supposed to be? Indeed. It is particularly grim-faced, is it not? Unforgettable, in fact. Yes, I remember that odious countenance only too well. Is £200 a lot of money for a wax model? It would be enough to afford one of the latest steam carriages, if that puts things in perspective. So, it is quite a lot then. Is there anything else you wish to add? Before I melt you down. That bubbling wax is looking more and more ominous.
The smell of all that molten wax is starting to worry me.
Mr. Sholmes did more or less just accuse her to her face, so I think I might have to call on your assistance here, Iris, if that's alright. To make some minor corrections to the great detective's great deductions.
Of course it's alright. We'll soon set things straight.
Well, let's get started then, shall we? Before Madame Tussbells vents her anger. Alright, here we go. Just what I was waiting to hear, my dear fellow! So, Madame Tussbells, in accordance with our agreement, you shall now have the pleasure of seeing this famously great detective and temporary exhibit at work. Here we go, corrections. Course correction! Hold it, Mr. Sholmes! Alright, we're not gonna read these until... Self-cash... To begin with, we must ask ourselves what is put here. Yeah, she's holding something behind her back. Behind her back. Some £200. That's all my money. Pretty lady. The answer lies where your eyes now fall. The £200 is revealed by that public notice. That is not correct. Okay, she definitely looked in this direction. It's true.
But I'm not sure she'd sell any of her waxworks, even for £200.
Oh? She must pour her heart and soul into making them, don't you think?
Over and above the wax? If it were me, I wouldn't sell them for anything.
For that much money, I would. But it sounds like that makes me a bad person. Well, anyway, I wonder if the £200 could have some other significance.
Let's follow that furtive glance again and see if there's anything else that could explain it.
Alright. Oh, here we go. Oh, here we go. Note on the wall. I couldn't go up and down.
What's that note doing pinned on the wall there?
Oh yes, let's see. Dear Madame Tussbells, we've taken the prisoner from this room. The price for his safe return is £200. Have the money ready by noon on 23rd October.
What?
This is just the sort of thing that's left when someone's kidnapped. Well, the statue was kidnapped, it looks like.
Yes, it's a ransom note.
Exactly. Alright, change that to ransom note, and this is what we present.
Take that!
Wham! The significance of the 200 pounds is revealed by that ransom note. Quite so. We must congratulate these criminals on their inventiveness, abducting a waxwork. Ah! 200 pounds is no small ransom fee, yet you clearly intend to pay it. The model in question has special importance, so I put together all the money I have. In summary then, the 200 pounds you have in your handbag is ransom money. Now, let us explore the next curiosity with which we are presented. The old man! Who is the portly gentleman? Okay. Here the name has suffered severe shock, cause of which is clearly known to you. It sure is, and you're hiding it behind your back. Appear to be your forte. Nope. That's incorrect! So if the waxwork was kidnapped, where does that leave us in terms of who this man is?
You could just ask him when he comes around.
I think the point of this exercise is to understand the beauty of the deduction process, Iris.
Yes, you're right. Riley's trying so hard. We mustn't let him down.
Oh, there's little doubt that he suffered a shock. That much seems clear. But in that case, what Madame's Tuspel's trying to hide? Let's have a closer look around. You're hiding a hand below here. Yeah, that's not her hand. That's the wax hand.
This is just Madame Tuspel's right hand, isn't it?
Nope, it's not. Yes, it must be. I can clearly see her left hand after all.
Oh, but wait a minute. This is a left hand as well. Look.
Don't say such creepy things, Iris. Please.
And it seems very stiff, too. In fact, it's really hard.
You mean it's made of wax? It's a waxwork hand. This one. Bam! What dealt the man such a shocking blow was, of course, the waxwork hand. Indeed, with such a solid waxwork limb, one could deliver quite a very substantial blow. How could you? The hand protruding from the bottom of your cape? It ought to be a right hand. Oh, it ought to be a right hand, but on closer inspection reveals that it is, in fact, it's a left hand. And somewhat masculine as well. In other words, it does not belong to you, madame. It's the hand of a waxwork model. Yeah! She's so pretty! Sorry. Oh, yeah, it's from the statue. Some of the visitors to my museum can be troublesome. They meddle with the exhibits and cause damage. So you mean that harm? Yes, this gentleman saw fit to try to remove it as a souvenir. No small keepsake. Like taking a whole branch of a cherry tree when you go to visit the blossoms. I'm afraid I had to teach the man a lesson. Oh, so she attacked the guy! You confronted the man and tried to take the arm back. Oh, and the result? The scene we see before us! He was knocked unconscious! A point we may need to revisit later, but for the time being, we have our conclusion. Yes, the killer in this special exhibit has been kidnapped! Sure has! Dog. Alright, here we go. Gotta fix this one now. Then is what becomes of the waxwork that changed hands. Let us consider that a problem for a moment. Being over there. And the answer we need only reserve is neckerchief. No, we do not! Mr. Sholmes, the yellow neckerchief is assigned to other policemen that some crime is underway.
Way of communicating with his colleagues without revealing his identity, yes. It's a secret that's closely guarded by Scotland Yard.
That Mr. Sholmes didn't hesitate to give away.
Well, uncovering secrets is in any true detective's nature, of course.
Right. Anyway, judging from Madame Tuspel's reaction to Mr. Sholmes' deduction, I think perhaps we might not have identified the man quite correctly. Alright, Just real quick. Here we go, the shoulder stub. What the? The man has a stub sticking out of his shoulder where his arm should be.
Ah, well that settles it then.
Right, this isn't a real person at all.
His entire arm's been ripped off from the shoulder down.
His arm's been? Of course, that ties in with what we just found out. Alright, we just present that. Who is this fellow? To find the answer, we need only observe his shoulder stub. No such boneless human walks this earth. Of that I can assure you. In other words, the man standing here, the young Sergeant John Clay, is in fact defying all odds, a waxwork model. I seem to remember it was you who concluded he was a real person in the first place, Mr. Sholmes. Oh, he has become quite a celebrity in London, being the winner of no less than 3 policing awards last year. I simply had to make a model of the man. Naturally! What other explanation could there be? And it was this detective's arm that was pulled off by the man on the floor in the special exhibit, wasn't it? Next, we turned our attention to the old man sat before him with a particularly unsightly visage. I've been watching closely and he hasn't moved a muscle. Okay, here we go. You and your reaction only confirms my suspicions, madame. I noticed it at once, of course. Observe. A killer policeman called Ottermole, was it? Was he well known?
It was all over the papers last year.
Oh shit! Hi, Zalius. Thank you for the raid. Uh-oh, I see your raid message. Don't hack me, please. Hello, everyone coming in from Zalius. I hope I'm pronouncing that right to begin with. Hope your stream went well. How are you? How is everyone coming in? Hello. As a quick introduction, I'm N. Today we're playing. I'm continuing the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. We're on, I forget what chapter number this is, but it's the one with the. We're at the wax artist. We're actually. Oh, you're farther in the story than I am. Well, spoiler alerts then. You have a nice voice. Oh, thank you. It's running a little, dry? Haggard? Words are hard. It's running a little haggard because, reading nonstop by yourself is quite an arduous journey. That's why we have water here. But thank you for stopping by. Instantaneous Kinesis? Yeah, because, the word teleportation doesn't quite exist yet in this time. So, I don't know if I should explain this because I'm pretty far. It sounds like I'm farther in the story, but, at one point, so there's this great exhibition. Someone creates a teleportation device, but because the word teleportation doesn't exist yet in this time, they call it instantaneous kinesis. But just a quick spoiler warning. I am farther in the story, so if you have not seen this game, I would probably advise you to wait a little bit. Oh, excuse me. Some water would do me good while I'm explaining and reading things here, but hope everyone coming in is doing well. Oh, and thank you for the follow. Oh, hello. I saw Herlock in the previous image and thought you were earlier in the story. No, we are quite farther ahead. Oh, and thank you for the follow, Zalius. I hope I'm pronouncing that right to begin with. But let's see here. Where are you in the story? I believe this is chapter 4, but I could be wrong because I legitimately don't remember. I forgot. And I forgot to update it in my panels, which you can see below. Oh, I didn't mean to click Iris! I'm sorry! Stop thinking! We're at the beginning of episode 5. Is this episode 5? Wait, hang on. The Albert Hair Brain. What chapter do you appear in? Oh, it's episode 3. Oh, your beginning of episode 5, Pawn Shop, part 1. I understand now. Yeah, I am very, very ahead. I don't believe this will have any, like... Well, it'll have spoilers for this chapter, but I don't believe this chapter will have any, cause, usually Ace Attorney games have, like, the overarching hints to the big case that happens at the end. I don't believe we're at the point where that happens yet. So, I think we should be fine. Right now we're trying to course correct Sholmes a bit here because he's gone a little he's gone a little ahead of himself here. But I hope you enjoy! This game is fun! I love Ace Attorney! But, yeah, as he tends to do. He's a little silly. He's a little goober. Alright. Only enough for a few measly hours of gas in Mr. Garrideb's delightful lodgings, in fact. So this is the special killer taken from the special exhibit, is it? A waxwork that somebody stole from the museum and tried to ransom for 200 pounds. Is this crusty old killer policeman Ottermole? Really?
Perhaps we should have a good look around again and see if another idea crops up.
Alright here. Can I... Oh! Oh, you are not a waxwork! You are alive! Do your thing, I'll be lurking while I get dessert. Hope your dessert's good! Enjoy your dessert! Right, yeah, he's very clearly not a waxwork. I think I can just present this and it'll be fine. A telltale sign that instantly proves whether or not this old man is a waxwork is the obvious twitch. Yeah, you seem to be so stopped by for other shoes, but I can't go look, have fun. Thank you for dropping by! I guess since the raid just started, I can probably just drop this now, but next stream will be on Saturday, and we'll be trying out Picayune Dreams, which is a Vampire Survivor bullet hell roguelike that I've had my eye on for quite a bit. So I'm quite excited to start. Let's continue here. Even the most realistic waxworks do not exhibit a twitch. In other words, this splendid old man is in fact a genuine member of the Scotland Yard! Slight shift in your choice of adjectives, then. And there you have it! Well, Madame Tuspells? Well, what? It was me who contacted the police and demanded that someone come in the first place. He's clearly fatigued. He is sound asleep. But then, what's this tag about showing a price of 3 pence? No doubt the price tag of the muffler, which the old Bobby purchased recently at a local market. And I presume you've observed the scarf tied around his arm? Does that not strike you, Mr. Naruto? Oh, he's probably trying to pose as a waxwork so he can, like, observe and listen, right? Yes, the secret sign used by detectives to show that some criminal activity is currently underway. Pretty lady. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Of course, because as you know, there has been such criminal activity happening here. As you deduced from the very beginning, detective. She's so pretty. So it would seem that we finally arrive at the truth. Here's the duo. The waxwork of the especially ruthless killer from the special exhibit has been kidnapped! And Scotland Yard are already investigating. But the model's whereabouts remain a mystery. Thus concludes Sherlock Sholmes' great deduction of this horrifying puzzle. There we go. Fixed it at last. Solved! There we go, elementary! I love Herlock Sholmes. He's such a funny guy. All sorts of people visit my museum here. Men and women, young and old. Sometimes they drop in just for a short time on their way back from the pub. I welcome them all. But if anyone tries to damage my exhibits, I do not take it lightly. Anyway. She's so pretty! Oh my god! I'm so sorry. I'm entranced. I'm in awe. She is a gorgeous woman. Your great deduction was even more enchanting than I had been led to believe. Pretty. It was a pleasure, my dear madame. I'm gratified that you enjoyed the spectacle. And as for your rough customer, I no doubt will regain consciousness shortly and return home. What concerns me more is the waxworks from the special display, if it was indeed genuinely abducted. Yes, tragically, it was. Then I would ask you to recount to us the events surrounding the stolen waxwork. In as much detail as possible, if you would please. Very well. But after I have told you what I know, I must insist that you return to your work. Oh yeah, you got a job! There he goes! The talents of a great detective could be put to better use, I feel. But as you wish. Alright, what you got, Tuspels? Okay, the stolen waxwork. Tell us more about the stolen waxwork, please. It was some days ago now, when I came in here one morning. I immediately noticed that a waxwork was missing from the special exhibit here.
It was your most prominent display, so that's why the curtains were closed.
And I found the ransom note in its place. The culprit must have broken in during the night and taken it then.
So this waxwork that was stolen, it was a model of some horrible criminal, I suppose.
Of a particularly horrible criminal, in fact. The killer who left a more profound scar on society than any other, I would say. The Professor. The Professor? Not a name I've heard of. So, Mr. Naruto, it seems the circle is complete. What? Sorry?
The Professor case happened at around the time I was born, didn't it?
Indeed it did, Iris. 10 years ago, a series of murders that rocked the capital. 10 years ago? Yes, at exactly the time that Barak van Zieks graduated from university, in fact. What? Surely he's not saying.
So the big event that changed Mr. Reaver's life.
Someone important to him was cut down, I assume. As you've surmised, it was the Professor case. Who is this Professor, then? The Professor! Who is it? It was a series of gruesome murders that had all of London gripped in terror a decade ago. After 5 victims were killed, the man was arrested and put to death. And now he's immortalized here in wax for all Londoners to admire and enjoy. Though, of course, he happens to be absent at present, on account of the abduction. But I don't understand. How is all of this related to Lord Van Zieks? You must first understand, my dear fellow, why is it that the Professor earned such infamy? It was due to the victims he chose, some of Whitehall's finest.
What do you mean, Hurley?
Those murdered by the Professor were some of the highest members of British aristocracy, members of the nobility, even royalty. They sent shockwaves through the country's administration. Members of the... Ah, wait! Of course! But Professor Hairbrain said, Lord Van Zieks is from a family with noble blood. Oh, yeah, someone was cut down, who was particularly close to him.
Oh gosh!
It was the 5th victim that led to the Professor's arrest. Last of the killer's prey was a young noble by the name of... Clint Van Zeeks. Ah! No! I don't believe it! Van Zeeks? I'm sure you can piece together the rest for yourself. In the wake of his older brother's murder, the young Barak pursued a crew. Oh god! Well, my mouth doesn't want to work! The young Barak pursued a career as a prosecutor, and eventually became the Reaper we know today. I had no idea Lord Van Zeeks had such a tragic past. Well, I'm afraid that's all I can say on the matter. For the time being, at least. After all, I have work to do. Here he goes. As a waxwork exhibit. Yeah, what a guy! I love this dude! Thank you, Sholmes. I'm afraid I shall have to excuse myself as well. Oh, yes, of course. It's been a pleasure. Thank you. Pretty lady. Please come back. I want to see you more. Well, none of the predicted scenarios I've been analyzing involved you coming to visit me here. Huh? Oh! 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 It's been too long.
It really has. I'm delighted to see you, Barak.
It's been 10 years. And here we are, meeting in a prison of all places.
I can't forgive myself for what happened to Mr. Asman. I just can't. I still can't believe it could happen.
Oh, I still can't believe it could happen. Tomorrow, the court will decide.
Yes. I have a young Easterman acting for my defense. He seems reliable enough, though. It was an accident. A terrible accident. He assures me he can prove it.
I must warn you.
Oh, I know. I've heard already. You're going to be prosecuting, aren't you?
Yes.
Since I returned to England, I've heard lots of stories.
Barak, are you really... What?
Never mind. I know that you have my best interests at heart.
My friend is on trial. I wouldn't trust it to anybody else. He cares for this guy. He does care for this guy.
Of course, I fully understand. Thank you, Barak.
Until tomorrow, then. I'll see you in court. Good on you, Van Zeeks. To be continued, but we're not stopping here yet. My throat isn't currently being shot into the atmosphere yet. Save your current progress, that I shall, and I'm going to take a sip of water. Excuse me for a moment. Here we go. Trial time. 23rd October, 8:52 a.m. Oh, wasn't that the day? The Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. I can't believe it's been 6 months since I was last allowed to work in court. And now here I am, back at the Old Bailey. Look at this dude!
Ah, Mr. Naruhodo!
Good morning, Professor Harebrained.
I don't understand! It doesn't make any sense!
The atmospheric pressure here is off the charts! I've never felt anything like it! It's crushing me! Yeah, me too, buddy. I feel it every time I'm here. That gravity.
Well, this is Britain's highest court.
Oh, this is Britain's highest court. I can't read.
But are you telling me it's fitted with some kind of device that can actually control air pressure?
I think, yeah. I think it's probably all in the mind. I think he means, like, not the literal gravity, but, like, the gravity of the situation.
Ah, yes, well, you'll let me down, will you, Mr. Naruhodo?
I'm counting on you in today's trial to save my life! To save the secret of my super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine from being made public! Yes, I understand. I know what I have to do. I have to establish that the explosion 2 days ago was nothing more than an unfortunate accident.
Well, I'm sure there's nothing to worry about, really. Justice will prevail!
Oh. My oh god. Commiserations? Commiserations, Mr. Naruhodo. You appear to have been lumbered with the most tiresome case here. Who is this? Ah, hi Sholmes! Welcome back! Truly a guy. Mr. Sholmes, I didn't expect to see you here.
That was very mean, Runo. Leave me home alone at home with Hurley. It took me at least an hour to wake him.
I'm the lawyer! I have to be here! Oh, is it? Are you? Sherlock Sholmes! The one and only. Indeed, sir. I am he, Sherlock Sholmes.
I heard all about your exploits, even whilst living in Germany. Ah, yes. Rats magazine is on sale in Germany, too.
This month's installment was sublime. Your deduction in the Adventure of Silver Blaze was wonderful. Ah, yes. A memorable case indeed. It concerned a snake, I seem to recall.
No, that was the speckled band.
Well, thank you for coming. I do appreciate support. I'm sorry to disappoint you, my dear fellow, but I'm afraid I can't stay. Oh. I have urgent business at Madame Tuspel's. You mean your waxwork job? No, the waxwork abduction, of course. Madame has engaged my services. Ah, so you're trying to get to the bottom of that ransom case, are you? He got hired! Let's go! He's making rent! The week's wages depend on it. As that's the safe return of the waxwork, naturally. As such, I intend to give it my undivided attention. Oh, well, never mind then. I understand. Of course, with my skills of observation and reasoning, resolving the matter will be as easy as a proverbial pie. I shall return forthwith. For until I solve the case, I shall have no money to afford a pie of any description. Well, bye, Sholmes.
Ooh, then you must absolutely give it your full attention, Hurley.
Iris is hungry. Can't let your basically daughter go hungry, can you, Sholmes? Quite, Iris, quite. But life is riddled with irony, you know. Whenever I give something my full attention, I have a quite insatiable desire for a pie. One of the universe's intractable mysteries, you might say. Oh yes, quite, definitely, absolutely! I totally understand! Is someone a little starstruck? I wish you the best of luck, Professor Harebrain. Why thank you! Before I depart, Mr. Naruhodo, a word in your ear, if you please. Huh? What's this about? Oh, as you have remarkably little grounding in science, I feel I ought to inform you. As compelling as the super high-voltage instantaneous kinesis hypothesis may be, a practical implementation such as was attempted by the professor at the Great Exhibition is quite impossible. But the professors at the demonstration was a success. Yes, it would appear that he fervently believes it was.
I read Professor Bunnybrain's paper about it too, Runo, and I have to say, I'm sure it can't be done. It could barely be done theoretically, let alone practically.
So he's completely barking up the wrong tree? How can an experiment that had no possibility of succeeding in fact succeed? That's contradictory. Oh. And it's that contradiction that will be at the heart of the trial, I've no doubt. That's probably a wax. It's probably they probably put a wax version of him somewhere. There's absolutely no other reason for why they just randomly have an intermission at a wax museum, other than to allude to the fact that there were wax figures in play here. What's that supposed to mean? Now, I must hurry along. I wish you the best of luck, my dear fellow.
See you later, Hurley.
Bye, Sholmes. Off you go.
Well, it looks like you're on your own today, Runo. But chin up, you can do it.
Oh, yo, I thought she was gonna help me. What about you, Iris?
No, I'm afraid I can't help. I have something I need to do.
I see.
It's going to be a big surprise for you when you find out what it is.
That sounds ominous. Oh, counsel for the defense and the defendant! Alright, court time! We're on our way! experiment that the laws of science say can't possibly succeed. And a scientist who's convinced that it did. That's the riddle you have to unlock here, Ryunosuke. That's the key to this case. Alright, here we go. We'll probably finish this part and then end stream. That is my prediction. Old Bailey courtroom. Oh, that's a whole new cast! In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are sitting today for the public trial of Professor Albert Harebrayne. I now call upon the counsel for the prosecution and the defense to declare their willingness to proceed. Hello, you vampire-looking MF. The prosecution is ready. The defense is ready, my lord. No assistant to speak of. I'm 6 months out of practice, and what's more... Oh, Susato! No, Susato! I'm without Susato-san today. Ugh. Is it just my imagination, or does the air in here feel even more oppressive than usual? So, I must say I recollect the victim of this case all too well, Mr. Odie Asman. Mr. Asman was well known as a financer, though that was merely a front for his diverse criminal activities. It was only a month ago that the man appeared in court prosecuted by you, Lord Van Zieks, but the jury unanimously found him not guilty. Because every member of the jury had been bribed, by the sound of it. These powerful London criminals are prepared to go to extreme lengths to keep their freedom. But 2 days ago, on 21st October, Mr. Asman met his end. The work of the Reaper, was it? If that is how your lordship would describe divine retribution... But the fact remains that Mr. Asman's death was a direct result of the actions of the accused, Professor Harebrayne. Very well then. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you have been selected at random to represent the will of the people. Are the 6 of you ready to fulfill your societal duty? Ah, completely new guy! I'm most gratified to have been selected to carry out this important civil duty, my lord! Oh god. Oh, these are all different people. To have a man's fate in the palm of one's hand. Oh gosh. Oh golly. It sends its shivers down my spine. Yeah, we don't know you either. Funny looking card guy. Science experiments, magic, conjuring tricks, courtroom trials. All are nothing more than performances. Oh, old guy. Spuricious? Any spurious scholar that defies the reputation of science deserves to be hanged. That's just a child! Who let a child here?
I have to listen to what's said on both sides of the defense and, then settle on the one. That's it, isn't it?
Oh, this guy was asleep! Oh. Wasn't like this in my day! Wasn't like this at all! That's... the police killer Ottermole lookalike. Again. And he's as exhausted as ever, it seems. Now, as I'm sure you're all aware, the incident we are here to judge today tragically took place at the Great Exhibition, shortly after its opening. Though the death toll could have been far worse, with the exception of the victim, no one was killed. Nevertheless, the dream of the science being exhibited rapidly turned into a nightmare for the spectators. A tragic turn of events, and as such, the eyes of all of London, of the whole world will be on this trial. It is our duty to reach a swift and just conclusion, I feel. So, your opening statements, please, Lord Van Zieks. Alright, here we go. At the heart of this incident is the technology never before demonstrated anywhere in the world. One of science's latest developments, I take it? The government is keen to capitalize on the Great Exhibition to improve Britain's technological advantage. The technology being demonstrated by the accused was described as super high voltage instantaneous kinesis. Good lord! That's a mouthful! It's designed to disassemble human subjects using extremely high voltage electricity. and beam them instantly to another location where they are subsequently reassembled. Is such a thing even within the realms of possibility? Well, I don't believe it. That's for sure. Disassembling people with electricity. My goodness, how shocking! Ha! The whole idea is absurd! The hypothesis would never stand to scrutiny. Sir, I believe you are a fellow of the Royal Society, are you not? An expert in your field. I am, and my word on the matter can be considered final. Instantaneous Kinesis is poppycock. So this expert and Mr. Sholmes are in agreement. It's impossible. What's the prosecution's view on the matter? The prosecution would assert that the accused instantaneous kinesis demonstration was a success. Oh! Oh, you're saying it worked! What? What rot? Oh, shit! Order! Order! The professor's hypothesis is currently under investigation by the British government. If it is deemed to have merit, a substantial research grant would be made available. The accused made use of the invention built on his new hypothesis to take Mr. Asmund's life, in order to be the sole benefactor of the grant. But... This disastrous demonstration was no accident. It was a carefully designed from the outset to end the life of the victim. Uh-oh. Okay, so you are indeed challenging me to find the facts of the case. Thank you, Lord Van Zieks. The prosecution's stance is clear. But you will now bring forth witnesses to substantiate your claims. Gladly, my lord. There he goes. Off with the cape. Bailiff, show the first witness to the stand. Oh, it's Harebrained! Harebrained and Gregson. Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court. Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector at Scotland Yard's Homicide Division. I was on duty at the demonstration on the day in question and in charge of the following investigation. Nope. Look at that guy! Albert Harebrained, the scientist! You were born in England, but have been carrying out research in Germany in recent years, correct?
Yes, that's right. After graduating from university here in Britain, I went to work in Germany. I made an amazing discovery, which has brought me back. I had to demonstrate my incredible hypothesis at the Grand Exhibition.
What you demonstrated was incredible, alright? An incredible explosion.
But the science was a success. The instantaneous kinesis worked. Everyone saw it. He must have done. Yes, there was the terrible accident, but the demonstration of my hypothesis was a success.
Well, that much is undeniable, as shown in this photograph taken by the forensic investigation team. Oh. This was taken inside the Crystal Tower, I take it? The centerpiece of the exhibition, no less. That's great, my lord. Seems the victim rammed straight into it. I see. Well, very well. Submit the photograph as evidence. Oh, here we go. After he had been ostensibly beamed to the Crystal Tower, it shows an apparent stab wound to the chest. Okay. As the courts heard, the victim of the incident was Mr. Audie Asmund. What is Audie Asmund a pun for? I can't quite put my finger on it. Audie Asmund. There have been a number of allegations made against the man, but putting him aside for the time being. He was the man who financed the research for the experiment and the demonstration itself. I see. So to summarize the situation, the defendant is accused of taking the life of the man who funded his work. Would that be correct? Exactly. But couldn't it be that the explosion was caused by some malfunction in the apparatus used for the demonstration?
That's right! That must be it! My splendid machine! My poor splendid machine!
You saw it yesterday, didn't you? We can't even examine the wreckage thanks to the special dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act. Whoa! What?
The wreckage! The wreckage?
But that being the case, how can the facts be established? How can it possibly be determined whether this was an accident or a deliberate and malicious act? Extremely simple, my lord. Yeah, because he has the pool of blood in his chest. I beg your pardon? Isn't that right, witness?
Huh? Sorry, me?
No, your neighbor. Yes, sir. It was murder, plain and simple. Anyone could state that with complete certainty.
What?
How can he possibly think that? Okay, thank you, Inspector. I think we had better proceed to formal testimony. It will explain to the court on what grounds you claim this experiment to have been a front for murder. Alright, here we go. The corpse that went crashing through the crystal tower had a broken neck.
I made a minor miscalculation in the angle of the beam projection. That's all. That was my mistake.
But the post-mortem examination revealed another injury, a fatal wound. There was a lesion in his chest where he'd clearly been stabbed by something sharp right in the heart. So the victim was killed before he went anywhere, and this fellow's the only one who could have done it. Oh. An extraordinary business. In addition to suffering a broken neck, the victim was stabbed in the heart? Information I would really like to have heard from someone other than the judge. The coroner says the death would have been all but instant from a wound like that. You could say, in fact, that the victim was killed twice by the accused.
No, no, and no! That wouldn't be further from the truth.
Look at this guy. I don't think this string bean could kill anyone. I have here the experiment plan document that was submitted to the security team. Oh. The victim stood himself inside something called the bird cage, ready to be beamed instantly. Oh, and whoop. To the second level of the crystal tower. About 25 yards away. The experiment did not go according to plan, however. Oh. As the machine was put into operation, there was a large explosion. The blast caused the beam transmitter to point higher than intended. Oh, up and up. Accordingly, the Kinesis resulted in the birdcage materializing in mid-air, from where it subsequently fell, crashing through the glass of the crystal tower's large round window. My word! One assumes the victim's neck was broken upon impact with the tower, then. I'm so sorry! I didn't mean for this to happen! The machine was just too powerful! But honestly, really, I swear, it was just an accident! A terrible accident! Unfortunately, that excuse can't save you. No, not considering the sharp murder weapon that pierced the victim's heart.
Murder weapon? What are you saying?
Oh, it was the screwdriver. This is the autopsy report submitted by the coroner. The prosecution will get entered into the court record. Your request is granted, counsel. Oh, autopsy report. Broken, violent fall, stabbed in the chest with the sharp object. Oh, Ryunosuke's like in over his head right now. I was there in person, you know. I saw the whole ludicrous performance. Give me 1 second. Oh, I forgot about these. Yeah, there's that, and then there's the Reaper attacked. And then there's the crossbow. This one folds out, I believe. Piece of green cloth. Did we ever look at this? We did. And then, yeah, there's this guy. He's got a puncture wound here. He's very clearly strapped into place. And then autopsy report. Here we go. 47. First, Courtney Sith. Okay. Oh, I should probably people real quick. Pretty lady. Esmeralda Tuspels. Alright.
The only other person on the stage with Mr. Asma was that disgraceful excuse for a scientist. And really, by all accounts, it must have been him. Hard to think otherwise, really.
Guys, we haven't even gotten to cross-examine yet.
Very well, counsel of the defense. Proceed with the cross-examination, please. Oh, yes, my lord. I need to focus here. It's been a while.
Okay, let's see here. Question through the crystal tower, had a broken neck. Minor miscalculation, projection, that's all, that was my mistake. Postmortem examination, revealed another injury, a fatal wound. There's a lesion in his chest where he'd clearly been stabbed by something sharp right in the heart. So the victim was killed before he went anywhere, and this fella's the only one who could have done it. So that's not the testimony I have to work with. I had no idea the victim had been stabbed. That changes everything. Oh, we should probably press that then, right? Did Benzies keep that to himself until now on purpose to gain the advantage? Oh well, I suppose all I can do is press these witnesses for as much new information as possible. Alright, let's press that stabbing one then. Oops, whoa, a bit too far. Something sharp.
Hold it!
Hold it! Hold it, please! The defense knew nothing of this crucial information. The prosecution received this report from the forensic investigation team only this morning. That was the first we knew of it as well. I can only apologize for the impossibility of informing the defense. Sarcastic and insincere. Thanks. It truly is Edgeworth's ancestor. So what was the nature of this sharp object? Among the accused tools that were in use at the demonstration, one is of particular interest. This. Oh. Oh yes, that would appear to be some kind of screwdriver. Oh! What? There he is! My trusty little companion, Andrew! You named your screw Andrew? Andrew. Of course. Please stop making that little motion. Ah, do you know each other already? He's one of my dear friends, like all my tools. I've named them all, you know? We're one big happy family. Weird little creature. Andrew is my flathead screwdriver, of course. His brother, Michael, is a crosshead. Well, it would appear that your beloved Andrew has this red stain on his shank. Ah! That isn't... It's blood. Beyond all reasonable doubt. No! And that's not all. The long, sharp end of this Andrew fellow is completely consistent with the victim's wound. What? Poor guy. Bop, bop, bop. The court will answer this friend on the defendant as evidence. Okay. There are traces of the blood on the tip and matches the shape of the victim's wig. Okay, before anything, let's examine this. Probably the tip, right? This is blood. Mr. Asman's, no doubt. This is the problem with looking at murder weapons. Oh. I've seen this unusually shaped handle before. It's the same screwdriver that was lodged in the grill on the floor of the Kinesis machine. Which could be important information, so I should definitely make a note of it. Oh, okay. In the base of what remains of the Kinesis machine, it has a very distinctive handle. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Great. Okay. Kill it before yet. This fellow's the only one who could have done it. Well, let's press this, because we were not aware of this. What grounds do you have for saying that? Huh. Do you really need to ask? There were only 2 people on that public experimentation stage in front of the whole crowd. The victim, Mr. Audi Asman, and the accused, Professor Hairbrain. And we know for certain that before the experiment, the victim was alive. That's right! I saw him with my own eyes! Furthermore, Following the explosion in Kinesis, nobody went anywhere near the body. In other words, only someone else on stage with the victim could Oh! Hello, buddy. What you got?
Excuse me.
Excuse me. Professor Hairbrain, do you have some information that may be relevant here? Buddy. Professor! Oh. Oh, sorry. I was just calculating the optimum coefficient of electrolysis to separate molecules in the human body. And the witness stand is the best place for that? It seems as though you might have something to say about Inspector Gregson's last remark. Look at him go! Yes, that's right, of course! He just said that nobody else could have done it, didn't he? Yes, right. Who else could have stabbed the victim, eh?
I don't know, but
There's no way that I could possibly have stabbed Mr. Asman, as you say. Huh? Explain, please, Professor. Of course, this cold-hearted policeman may not be aware, I suppose. But humans are warm-blooded mammals with blood running continuously through their veins. I had heard. And surely, you see, if I'd plunged something the size of Andrew into the man's chest, the whole stage would have been a bloodbath. No, a blood swimming pool. Ah. But thousands of Londoners were watching me at the time. Yet not one of them claims to have seen a swimming pool of blood. Well, no, I suppose not. You see? Not one! True, I didn't see anything like that. Oh, thank you, juror number 4. Well done, Professor. That was a great counter-argument. Let's go, Hairbrain! You're not quite as hairbrained as I thought. Uh-oh. Oh, Van Zeeks. Pray forgive the discourtesy if I savor a drop from my hallowed chalice to accompany my old friends. Oh god. Adducing? Here's to you, Albert. Oh, you're too kind, Varrock. I'm really not a patch on you. Ah, there it goes. No, you're not. Oh? You neglected to mention one crucial possibility. I have? A particular situation in which very little bleeding would result from a stab wound. Ah, of course! Inspector, enlighten the court, please. Yes, sir! Where are they going with this? Oh, are they gonna say that, like, because he got teleported, none of them saw the blood? But then why was there no blood on the Crystal Tower? Dun, 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 dun. The weapon the victim was stabbed with must have been left in his body while he— No, that is incorrect. Can I just— I might just present this, because I feel like no, this just directly contradicts this. I'm just gonna— Objection here, buddy. Sorry, excuse me. You say that while the weapon remains in the body, there's very little bleeding. Is that unequivocal? Look, there was no blood on the experimentation stage, even though that's where the fellow was stabbed. The only explanation for that is if the screwdriver was still in his body, stopping any heavy bleeding. It's common medical knowledge, my learned friend, even on your side of the world. Yes, but about the screwdriver. The thing is, we actually saw it in the scene ourselves, on the experimentation stage. What? Yeah, it was still on the stage. It was on the floor by the wreckage of the machine, poking through a metal grill. I went to pick it up, but the detective here stopped me. Isn't that right, Inspector Gregson? Well, now you've come to mention it, yes. Inspector, are we to understand that you permitted the Defense Council to investigate? That you contravened the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act? No, not at all! I wouldn't do that! I just let him look, nothing more. I was very clear that he wasn't to touch a thing! Yes, that's true. The screwdriver was in plain sight, on the stage. But it shouldn't have been, should it? What are you getting at? If this tool had still been in the victim's body when the victim was beamed away by the machine, then it shouldn't have still been on the stage. Yeah, there we go. Gotcha, Gregson. That's right. It shouldn't have been beamed across to the Crystal Tower along with Mr. Asman. And been found and still lodged in the victim's chest. Here we go. Yeah, eat that, Gregson. Do. How do you explain this, Inspector? I don't. It looks as though everything that the victim had on his person moved with him when he was beamed. If the screwdriver was still in his chest when the instantaneous kinesis occurred, obviously that should have been beamed to the destination as well. This is a strange situation. Even though people are saying that this instantaneous kinesis is a scientific impossibility, we're still basing arguments on the assumption that it actually did take place. Alright, time to tighten the screws here. My lord, if the prosecution is unable to explain this inconsistency in its argument, we can only conclude that the testimony given in the support cannot be relied upon. Oh, I got no words, Van Zieks? Lord Van Zieks is stumped! Oh no! Hairbrain, don't say anything! Hairbrain, don't say anything! Please! Don't make it worse for yourself! Do you have something to say, witness? Yes, I knew it! It bears out. The equations hold! Mr. Naruhodo, don't worry! About what? Without delving into the details, there's no inconsistency. What? Even if Andrew had been lodged in Mr. Aspen's chest, then why are you saying this? You're making it harder for yourself! Oh, this is what Mr. Sholmes warned us about, isn't it? It's because he still wholeheartedly believes in it, so he's gonna try to, like, explain it away. If Andrew had been lodged in Mr. Aspen's chest, my trustworthy tool wouldn't have moved. Andrew remaining on the stage is consistent with my calculations. What? It would seem your illusions have been shattered. Clearly, we should hear the accused's explanation. Or should I say, this brilliant scientist's explanation. Just when I found an inconsistency in the prosecution's argument. Scientists. Very well. The defendant will testify again. Provide us with a scientific explanation as to why the inconsistency asserted by the defense fails to hold. In the name of Apollo, I will, my lord! Apollo? Alright, here we go. Explained. To be clear, I'm still at the stage of gathering data in my research. My hypothesis states that the Kinesis cannot transport metal, though, hence the metal weapon would have stayed put. In other words, the point just raised by Mr. Naruhodo isn't an inconsistency at all. Why would you say this? That makes it harder for yourself! It makes my job harder! Mr. Asman was the patron of my research. Without him, my work wouldn't have been possible. Now I have a duty to protect the incredible machine that we built together. Why would you say that? Why would you say that? Why would you say that? So, the thrust of your testimony, Professor, is that based on his hypothesis, metal objects cannot be moved by this method of instantaneous kinesis. In other words, since the screwdriver is made of metal, even if it remained lodged in the victim's chest, its subsequent discovery on the stage, despite the victim being found elsewhere, is not an inconsistency. And therefore? Yeah, explain it like I'm 5, please, Van Zieks. And therefore Professor Albert Harebrained could still have been the killer. My great hypothesis holds, you see? We had to make the cage used to contain the subject from wood for that very reason. I was not addressing you, witness! Professor Harebrained? Yes? Whose side are you on here? I don't take sides, Mr. Naruhodo! No! My only interest lies in upholding my hypothesis. I'm a scientist, after all! I make it... okay. Is he working for us or against us? It's very hard to tell. Let's see how you cross-examine this testimony, my Nipponese friend. Yeah, cross-examine this bullshit!
Yes, fire away, Mr. Naruhodo!
Didn't the guy have glasses, though? Hang on. Search. My hypothesis states that the Kinesis cannot transport metal, though, hence the weapon would have stayed put. Didn't he have glasses, though? I seem to recall that he has metal glasses. So this disproves it, I think. I could just present this, right? I feel better if I just press it first. Hang on. I could probably just. No, hold on. What are your thoughts? Give me a little something here. That's the extent of the testimony, then. Thank goodness for that. I don't want him doing any more damage. He's already basically proven that he could have been the culprit. It seems as though all he really cares about is defending his hypothesis. Still, I wonder. What if his hypothesis is just fundamentally flawed? Oh, that's it? That's all you got? No additional pressing or anything, I assume, so I can probably just safely be like, hey, ding dong, you're wrong.
Objection.
Professor Hairbrain, you say that according to your hypothesis, nothing made of metal can be beamed by instantaneous kinesis using the machine you made. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. Spot on. Exactly correct.
In that case, I'd ask you to have a look at this photograph that was taken at the scene. In particular, I'd like you to pay attention to the victim's face. You can clearly see that Mr. Asman is wearing a pair of spectacles with a metal rim.
What? Metal? No. Metal can't. That's not... Metal? No! Poor guy.
We've already established that the proposed murder weapon, the screwdriver, was found on the stage. However, if your hypothesis correctly predicted that outcome, it should also have predicted that the metal-rimmed spectacles would be found in the same place.
Oh, poor guy! My hypothesis! My hypothesis!
Professor Hairbrain, this isn't easy for me to say, but your hypothesis is clearly flawed.
Why?
Poor guy! We got him though. Order! Order! Counsel, what is the implication of this? If, on the day in question, the alleged instantaneous kinesis never actually took place, then it's entirely possible that the victim was killed somewhere other than on the stage. And in that case, someone other than the defendant could have been the culprit. But my hypothesis is sound! I proved it on that day. The experiment was a success! The experiment was a proof of all my work! Oh? If I could say something here in my capacity as a fellow of the Royal Society... Yes, juror number 4, go ahead. As a man of science, there's one thing I simply cannot abide. And that's a fraud who pretends to be a fellow man of science.
What? Wait! Great Scott! Are you suggesting my science is suspect?
It's just been disproved, hasn't it? In front of all of us. In other words, the whole demonstration was a complete nonsense from start to finish. Believe me, my fellow jurors, when I tell you that this man is a heel, a bounder, and a fraud. He's doing his best. I say the wreckage of that machine should be stripped down and thoroughly examined.
No! Never! The machine is the essence of my entire hypothesis!
It's protected by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act. What the devil is that blasted act all about, eh? Who made up such a daft rule? I don't like the way this seems to be going. Me neither, Ryunosuke. What's the best way for me to help the professor? Oh god. Oh, can I, sure, I'll raise an objection.
Objection.
Professor Hairbrain has yet to perfect his invention. That would seem to be the case, yes. But even so, what? Going to such trouble and expense to create a fake machine to display in public. He would have absolutely no reason to do such a thing.
Objection.
Oh, thank you, Venzeeks. Alright. He had an obvious reason to do exactly that. For the research grant money. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have raised an objection. Uh-oh. The government was foolish enough to have deemed the man's ridiculous notion implausible. He and his conspirators could have received a handsome sum indeed. Conspirators? That would be the value of What would be the value of such a grant? 10 pounds? You're an order of magnitude out, madame. 500 pounds. A year! Oh, a year!
You could live handsome on that much for years.
The Society has noticed an increase in bogus public demonstrations in the field of science recently, and plenty of scientists arguing with each other to get the largest slice of the funding cake. People's greed is plenty motive enough for murder, I assure you. That just made it worse for myself, but it seems like the plot is progressing.
No, I haven't deceived anyone! At least of all the government! My hypothesis is sound! The science is sound! Please, you must believe me!
No matter how unbelievable this hypothesis may seem to you, ladies and gentlemen, the fact remains that the victim was transported instantly to the Crystal Tower. Which means that the experiment was a success. Baroque! And therefore, the only person who could possibly have committed this murder is the accused. Baroque! Poor guy. Where is he? Where's this heading? I have no idea. My lord, if I may. Yes, Lord Van Zieks? The prosecution would like to summon new witnesses to the stand. Oh, new witnesses! New witnesses? What would be the nature of their involvement? They were spectators of the demonstration at the exhibition. Why didn't you just call them up here? They were occupying special seats. Oh, the hot air balloons. Eyewitnesses? Very well. The court grants the prosecution's request. I should very much like to hear from eyewitnesses to the incident. The prosecution's stance is clear. The experiment was no postage. Postage? That's a word! The accused killed the financier victim there on the public stage, before the very eyes of the spectators. Now, my learned friend...
Oh, yes?
It's time for you to make your own stance clear. There's clearly a flaw in the professor's hypothesis. I can definitely see that. But where does that leave me? We shall take a short recess now, during which time the prosecution will prepare its new witnesses to take the stand. Alright, bye, Van Zieks. As you wish, my lord. Good. In that case, court is adjourned for 20 minutes. Alright, there we go. Bum bum. Alright, to be continued. And with that, I'm going to be calling it here for the stream. Ooh, where do we save here? Right here. But thank you guys for stopping by, and once again, thank you, Zalius, for the raid. If you'd like to see past streams and the past bits that we've done of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, along with other games, check out the YouTube's channel. There, if you want to see my art or other people's art, check out the Blue Sky or the Tumblr. I don't have a Twitter anymore. It's been taken care of by a rat. And if you wanna, we do also have a Discord. I don't usually do it in this order. I did it kind of out of order, but we do have a Discord. It exists. We have fun here, I swear. That's all I've got for you guys tonight, though. On Saturday, we'll be once again trying Picayune Dreams. That's all I've got for you guys tonight. We'll see you guys later. Bye bye. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you for dropping by.